We should be on the air. Feel like we live, feel like we rolling, like we going. And this is episode 54 of the First and Framerates Podcast. Myself, VF Baller, or you can call me Silent Gamer, it doesn't matter. Um, got DJ81, Bills Fourth. We're back in the studio coming to you live with some more content, and we're gonna break it to you like we know how. If you want to, I really advise you to. I think it'd be best for you to follow us on SoundCloud and iTunes. Over there, you can follow us or subscribe, where you can listen to us at any time. Especially if you don't want to have your YouTube app open, you can just download it on your phone or your favorite device, and go from there. Now the flip side to that is you won't be able to listen to us live, and we like to do this thing live now. Appreciate my co-host for these two guys actually putting me out there to do it because it's long overdue. But nevertheless, let's talk about those two guys. What's going on, Bills? What's happening?
Same old. Just working on my craft and playing a little bit of video games, watching some sports, and just chilling.
Yeah, same here. We're going back to work next week since the baby's here and everything's settled down a little bit. I'll be going back to work starting next week, so I'm looking forward to that. But what about you, DJ? How's it going on with you?
Well, the morning started out debating people about racial relations, especially people out there telling me how my own city is. So it was kind of interesting this morning. Yeah, I can't wait to get into these topics. And other than that, everything's been good. Spent my off day just resting, chilling, just catching up on the news. Ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things that I want to come across. Might be a little bit redundant if you think about the last part of our podcast. So it's basically going to be of last week's podcast. So it's kind of like a follow up from where we left off there. Basically, what we're doing here is we're giving you straight up content. We're not out here to just try to pander to one side. We're just telling you our thoughts about what happened throughout the week of sports and sports gaming, and basically take it or leave it. I mean, we're not trying to put smiles on everybody's faces. We want you to be happy because we're giving you real content.
Come on. We all know who you want to roast. We all know.
Well, I'm not trying to do that, and I'm not even going there. But basically,
for $7 a month, you can get all of the First and Framerates content.
Man, come on!
All we ask for you is to listen. I mean, anything else, if you was to pay for anything on our end, trust me, you will be getting something in return that's not free on a website. So basically, we are in talks of. Well, I'm in talks of trying to put some real merchandise out there, but it's not. It's actually a little harder than it is, but that's another story for another day. But anyway, football happened this week. Actually, surprisingly decent football. The AAF debuted, and actually it broke some. It didn't break anything. It surpassed certain ratings that I was shocked, and It was refreshing to watch good old football. Even though it is professional football, it's not top tier professional football. And for the most part, it looked like
top tier officiating.
That I can agree on. The officiating was way better than the NFL.
They stayed the hell out the way.
Right. They let them play football. And then when it was time for them to actually, review a play, you actually was able to see them do it the right way. Well, I ain't gonna say the right way, the better way. And it was refreshing to watch. What are your guys' thoughts of the debut of the AAF, and what do you take from it coming up with the following week of more football? Any one of y'all can go first. It don't really matter.
You can go.
I'll go ahead. Yeah, I was definitely. I came into it. I know I've been repeating myself. I think last week and also maybe a few weeks before that about my expectations on week one. I was definitely enjoying watching the game. Now, I wish they would have staggered the times. I know people were talking about that. They could have staggered the times so people in different markets could have watched both games, because I would have loved to watch both games. Just like for it to have it on Saturday and on Sunday, where it's like staggered, where you can watch all 4 games. I'd rather have it that way. So CBS, if you're listening to this, let's go for more staggered times. The gameplay itself, it seemed like I was watching the Super Bowl without the fanfare, as far as the way the plays were going. And typically, because they are not the NFL players, there were moments where you can tell they were not NFL players, but some of them were former NFL players. So there was a bit of consistency throughout these games, that I appreciated, especially hitting a quarterback without getting a flag thrown on. I thought that was very refreshing to see a quarterback get their head taken off, helmet flying off.
And it was a clean hit too.
Yeah, which for that hit in the NFL, that's getting flagged no matter if it's clean or not. So it was definitely refreshing to see that.
Yeah, it's getting clean. You're getting flagged, and then in college, you'll probably get called for targeting and probably get kicked out the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's one thing I could take away from it. The officiating of AAF was top notch. It was like the best I've seen in a long time. And the product on the field was not the best, but you really saw some guys that was on the field that can possibly make a NFL roster, because there was some good players out there. So it was refreshing to see like players who are actually trying to play hard to actually, get somewhere as far as taking their talents to the next level, even if they had that chance before, or even some who haven't had that chance before. So I thought it was really refreshing to watch some decent football. What about you?
Oh, and one more.
Go ahead.
Wait a minute. One more thing. It was definitely refreshing to hear about people that I never would have heard of before. Basically, at quarterbacks, like, you get used to when you watch the NFL, hearing certain quarterback names, like different type of names, but the variety of names that were associated with the quarterbacks in this opening weekend, and watch how they handled the blitz, watch how they handled running their offense was pretty good to watch. So
yeah, that quarterback, the quarterback from Birmingham was really good, and the quarterback from Arizona was those two guys stood out a lot, and that was refreshing to see. What about you, Bills? What was your take?
My first thought after watching that first game on Saturday was the NFL better take a long, deep sigh of relief that this league has no intention to compete with them, because the product of football. Yeah, because the product of football that they put on the field the first night was very impressive. The tackling was very impressive. Those guys were using true technique as far as tackling. They weren't going for kill shots when they didn't need to be going for kill shots. Guys are playing their proper gaps. They weren't over pursuing.
The only thing I could take away from, like, you could see a lack of talent to, like, some receivers would drop the ball. They would drop someone would drop wide open passes.
Oh yeah, Bills. Remember we were watching, we were on PSN and we seen that tight end drop.
Oh yeah.
And outside of that, everything else is pretty clean.
So I think the one gap between the NFL and this league would be the skill position players, definitely. The skill position players on offense definitely are better in the NFL, by far. There are just passes that you don't drop, routine plays that you have to make that weren't being made at times in the game. But Jesus Christ, that defense was very impressive. And that's with you only being able to rush 5. Very impressive, the pass rush that they were getting. You honestly had some of everything that first weekend, because you had a really competitive game that we watched, and you had a blowout. You had a low-scoring game.
You had a shutout. I think
you had a shutout.
So,
and with the Arizona Salt Lake game, you had somewhat of a shootout.
Yeah, so you had some of everything the first weekend, and as they, expose more of these teams nationwide, and we get to see all of these teams play, I'm sure that the league will branch out and just, look even better in the eyes of casual fans who are coming in just to watch a good brand of football. In the future, I think this league will turn out to be too good not to try to compete against the NFL, because quite frankly, I don't think that this league should be limited to just being a factory for future NFL players. That's just
or
me.
former ones that's trying to get back in. I agree.
Yeah, I don't think that this league should limit itself. It has great coaching. It has great people that were involved in the NFL that are running the league and involved with the league. And I think that the sky's the limit as far as what this league can do. The support will come with, their continuing success as far as, on the field. The support will come. They just have to keep that same brand of football.
Yeah, I think how they did everything with the beginning of the pregame shows and the professionalism that it came out, like you can tell from the start that this wasn't like some rinky-dink league that's just trying to put out a janky product. These guys really care about these guys on the field actually trying to be good football players. You can tell that the coaches are actually out here trying to get these guys to be good football players. They're not just out here just like, oh, hey, come watch us and here's our sponsor. It's nothing crazy on the back end. Basically, what you guys said is the same thing I took from it. Is like I've taken that these guys have a product that really that could branch out to be something big. I think it's a partnership of the NFL. I don't think it's nothing that the NFL is directly tied to. I hope not, because if that's the case, you can possibly kill that with them trying to compete. But they have the structure to where if they do compete, the NFL could possibly have a problem on their hands, because these guys look like, and I know it's just the first week, but you can look and tell that they're about the sport. They're not about the inside politics, what happens at NFL front office versus the NFL PA or any of this other stuff that is, messing up the NFL brand as far as concussions and all this other stuff. That stuff is going to happen. You signed up for the sport, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't have lawsuits or whatever. I mean, you can sue for anybody, you can sue anybody for whatever you want to, but it's refreshing to see another league that can come in and try to be something that the NFL used to be. And oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna jump in real quick. Because in my opinion, all it takes is that one domino to fall. And Kareem Hunt did get signed by the Browns today, but I was thinking in the back of my head, I'm like, let Kareem Hunt sign there.
That's what I said. Yeah. Like, let a name get into the AAF. I said that with a college player. What if a college player like one and done, or they're two and done? Like, you can't go into the NFL after your junior year, so you have to do 3 years in college.
Exactly.
But what if a sophomore says, you know what, I'm just going to go and play in the AAF. I'll make my $70,000 for a year and then go make millions in that the following year.
That. Yeah, let's say Tua says, I just want to go to the AAF. It's going to be interesting because I know they want to stay in their lane, and I know they don't really want to compete with the NFL right now, and they're just trying to give a healthy alternative. But I'm telling you, it's going to get to a point where this league is going to have a good amount of success, and if the players continue to get fed up with how the NFL is running, this will be a viable option.
I agree. I can agree with that. And the thing about it is that we want more of it. So the following week that's coming up, that we have 2 games. We got 4 games, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Once again, you got Salt Lake and Birmingham, which I think Birmingham will probably win that game because their quarterback is pretty good. Arizona at Memphis. Memphis got shut out last game against Birmingham, and Arizona looked like they got a wide receiver and a quarterback tandem that's actually pretty good. So I expect more of the same. Maybe Memphis will put up some points, but I don't think they're going to win. Orlando at San Antonio. San Antonio got a pretty good defense, but Steve Spurrier is a pretty good coach, and he got Orlando doing pretty good, dropping 40 on the team. And you got Atlanta at San Diego. This is the bottom feeder game, in my opinion. Atlanta got blown out 40-6. San Diego got blown out. Well, they didn't get blown out, but they got beat 15-6. And I don't see that. This could be a game that could be like 11-13 or something.
Yeah, so, me and DJ were pointing to that Orlando team as being the crazy high-powered.
Yeah, I like the Atlanta. I like the Arizona Hotshots personally. I think those 2 teams are clearly could be the top 2 teams with Birmingham right behind them. But so I'm with you on there. Orlando could easily run away with this, but I really like what Arizona has with their offense. They look pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead.
Oh, and one thing to throw in there. I'm also looking at the week 2 schedule, like we're discussing, and I think this week they are going to stagger the time. So I didn't see this. I didn't see this ahead of time, but that's going to be good. And it looks like I'll at least be able to catch 3 games because I don't have the CBS network thing.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you don't have the CBS that network, they do have a YouTube channel where they live stream the games. So you can just go to YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, they have YouTube. I subscribed to it the other day. I'll send you the link of it so you can subscribe to it too. So every single game that I know of that's been out this past weekend was on that YouTube channel, so you can watch it live there. So if you want to watch it, you'll be able to watch every game if you want to on there.
Okay.
But but it is good that they stretched out the games this time because that was one complaint a lot of people had with the debut. Like both games were playing at the same time. It was like, well, that's not good because some people wanted to see because a lot of people missed that big hit that the guy from San Antonio laid on that guy. A lot of people missed that, so it kind of sucks. But speaking of sucks, what do y'all think about Hackenberg? I mean, you would think that he would get in this league and do better, but he's the same quarterback.
Yo, he's fucking garbage.
He is extra garbage.
I was watching that game before. Oh my God, he's awful.
I was like, yo, he's extra trash.
To tell you the truth, it just seemed like he's just lazy.
I don't know what it is, but
I don't think he's lazy. I think he literally sucks. And I'll tell you why.
Penn State, he had that lackadaisical throw, and his body language was like he really doesn't care.
I think he doesn't have the talent, and he knows he doesn't have the talent, so he phones it in half the time.
Yeah, I think he phones it in as soon as they hike the ball. He's like, all right, I'm just
could have had that Jets job because they had nothing but dumpster juice on that team back when he was on the Jets, and he just squandered that too.
I wonder how NY feel when he saw him play though.
He actually did tweet about it. I forget what he said.
Oh yeah, he did.
He tweeted about the pick that Hackenberg threw, and God, that was just cringeworthy at his best.
You had Trevor Knight on the sideline, like they did not even try to put him in the game until late.
Exactly.
Same thing with like Matt Sims. Matt Sims was like garbage, and Aaron Murray just sitting on the sideline, like, well, what are we doing?
Right.
I mean,
we're gonna see those second stringers come out soon, rather than later.
You got to, because I mean, don't get me wrong. This is somewhat of a developmental league. I mean, I understand that somebody may have won the starting job in the beginning, but if they know what they're supposed to do, and they're like, some of them are literally like 3 of 11 with 3 picks, you might need to put them on the sideline.
Yo, now you know who would tear it up in this league, and people are gonna hate me for it.
Who that?
Johnny Manziel.
Oh, he will kill it. I can believe it. I believe you only got 5 rushing against a guy like that.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why it's really bad on Hackenberg to struggle like he does, because it's only one additional guy. And matter of fact, if you count the linemen, they're all supposed to be picked up if they're rushing 5.
Man, if Josh Gordon wasn't still under contract with the Patriots, I'd say for him to go to this league.
Yeah. Him. What's the other guy that played for the Jaguars?
Justin Blackman.
I'm
surprised he's not in that.
I forgot all about him.
I'm surprised he's not in that league.
Yeah, this league is perfect for guys like that.
Trey Mason, he disappeared off the face of the earth. He can go to that league.
Trey Mason got like, he don't have a drug problem. He got mental issues.
Yeah, he got a mental issue. But I mean, if you can get it together, you can start back on there.
Talent-wise, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of players that could tear it up in that league.
AJPS asked in the chat, he's a little late, but do we think that this league will last? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna last.
Yeah, the 1 week. I mean, a lot of people will say whatever they want about the ratings may tank, but you have to understand these players have been playing off of 45 days of practice. They didn't have like a full season or even have time to really gel with their teams. And with that being said, these guys play decent football for the most part. I mean, like I said, outside of a couple of drop passes, and I don't care how much you practice. A bad quarterback is a bad quarterback. You can practice till your practice wheels fall off. But if you got a bad quarterback, you're going to have a Christian Hackenberg. I mean, that's just how it is.
And the thing is, when you have expectations so low as far as the viewership is concerned and people who are watching, they'll be pleasantly surprised by watching it, and then they'll automatically keep watching because their expectations were already so low. It's like a mental thing.
Yeah, and and I think it sold the three things I'm gonna take away that really sold people to make that I know that this league is gonna be around at the minimum at least 3 years, this year, next year, and the year after that.
Mm-hmm.
What sold me on this was, one, the refs don't get in the way. Two, that the replay booth is actually transparent. You can see what's going on.
Yes.
And three, you can actually see talent that will make you want to come back, because that talent is going to be like, well, this guy's good. What if he do get signed? Who's the guy next in line that could be that next person? So everybody, it's always intriguing to see what kind of level of talent that'll be out there. So I say at least
Stacy in that game. Zach Stacy played for the Rams. He was
that receiver that played for Arizona. That dude got some hands on him.
He's a monster.
Yeah,
Nick Novak.
Rashad Ross.
Yeah, he's been in the NFL for like quite a few years, at least about 5 or 6. He was on the Redskins before. I think he was on the Redskins, and I think the last NFL team he was on, I would like to say Chicago. I think he was on Chicago before he went to Washington, or maybe the other way around.
Okay.
But yeah, Rashad Ross, I'm like, he was definitely underused while he was with the Redskins.
So AJ asks, how about the XFL? I'm hearing that they're going after high school players with college and the NFL players combined. I don't see the XFL first.
That's not gonna
if this is going to be a head-to-head battle, the XFL is going to lose that every time because the AAF has all of the coaching from the NFL.
That's true. And they got the pipeline with NFL heads at the front office.
It's not gonna be close because how many former NFL players are you honestly gonna find in the XFL? You're not gonna find many.
But not only that, if the high school players are going up with college players and NFL players combined, all it takes is one high school player to get beat, get knocked the hell out. Once that high school player gets knocked out in the game, and it comes to find out that a 4-year college guy or an NFL guy laid that dude out, it's a wrap.
That's it. No.
It's a wrap. Because nobody, we love football, but nobody wants to see some kid that just got out of high school that's 12 years, that's 18 years old, get laid out by a 34-year-old veteran or 25-year-old veteran or something like that.
And honestly, AJ, knowing Vince McMahon, because I'm such a hardcore wrestling fan, I know he can't help himself. He's going to put some type of gimmicky bullshit in that league that's going to turn people off as it is. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't see it.
Yeah, I hear him. He's starting to. He said he wants to bring traditional football back and this, that, and the third. And I get it. It's cool. But if it's going anywhere the route that you said, like I said, all it takes is like, even if a college player really, a college player that just in college, just haven't been in college for as long as like say 2 years or whatever, he comes out. Well, I ain't gonna say a college. If a high school player gets hit and gets laid out, it's a wrap. That league is done.
The only reason I hope the XFL flourishes is so he can stay the hell away from the WWE and let the people who actually are in touch with this generation run it. That's the only reason I hope the XFL is actually a bit successful. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I agree. I hope that's not true, because that sounds like something that Vince McMahon would do.
Oh yeah.
That sounds like with all those players combined, like one high school player gets hurt, it's over.
Oh, God damn it! Put them all out there. like Vince, he's 17. I don't give a damn, pal. Bro, not that serious.
Anyway, speaking of the AFF, we had a couple of quarterbacks like Perez and the guy from Arizona, the guy from Orlando. They played pretty good. This draft class in the NFL was not too hot. What are your guys' thought about Kyler Murray and Drew Lock? And I don't know. I'm more looking at other positions this draft class outside of this one. This might be one of the weakest ones I've ever seen.
Anytime there are probably 3 or 4 defensive players that are going to be the prohibited number 1 picks, you can kind of look at it and see that it's going to be a bit of a weak draft. And it's no knock against defensive players. It's just, the stacked drafts in the past have always had quarterbacks at the top of the class. But this year you're looking at Dwayne Haskins and Kyler Murray. And, you're looking at 2 dudes who honestly could go, second round? Third round?
Third, yeah.
So, I don't know, man. It's looking bleak.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I'm not saying I'm not surprised, but I'm a little unimpressed. I mean, when your number one quarterback in some draft pools, when the number one quarterback is possibly a guy from Duke, then you know something isn't right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. Hey, what are your thoughts, DJ?
I think because the Washington Redskins are going to suck no matter who they draft makes me uninterested in any draft for the next 2 or 3 years, or at least until Daniel Snyder sells the team. I'm just done with NFL and the Washington Redskins at this point. So
I'm trying to figure out why so many teams tanked as if Tua and Trevor Lawrence are coming out this year. Like, I don't get it. Why tank for this class?
You know what? I like Tua, but you know the quarterback I'm really looking forward to coming in the NFL is Jake Fromm. I think that guy's gonna be pretty good.
Fromm, I'm gonna be honest. I think that right behind Trevor Lawrence, I think Fromm is probably the second most pro-ready, prototypical quarterback.
I agree.
Coming into the league, I could easily see that.
And nobody's talking about him, and that's fine. I mean, I get it, but you see how the way he plays. Like the way he played against Alabama, the way he played pretty much all his games, he's played very, very well. Yeah, they lost against Alabama, but those games weren't his fault at all. I mean, he's done pretty good. So it's like, with that being said, that's one guy that I'm actually looking forward to next year. But this year, you got Drew Lock, you got Haskins, Daniel Jones out of Duke, you got Ryan Finley, the guy from Northwestern, Thorson. Will Greer, at one point, he looked like he was going to be a number one pick, and they're talking about him going in the 4th round.
Yeah,
it's just to me, I don't see nothing out there. You know, I actually thought Nick Fitzgerald was going to be pretty good out of Mississippi State. He has the size.
I mean, you got an impact player like Nick Bosa, but once again, these aren't offensive players. You know what I'm saying? So,
right. Right, you know what I'm saying. You got it seemed like it's driven towards defense and offensive line. I don't see anything outside of that or outside of was inside a quarterback.
That might be what the league needs, though. Defensive renaissance, perhaps.
Yeah, possibly. It needs to be flipped in some way because I'm gonna be quite honest with you. They say it's a quarterback-driven league, but I'm personally tired of listening and watching quarterbacks all the damn time.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer that every team has a good quarterback, but it'll never be that way. It's always going to be top-heavy, and the good quarterbacks are going to have to be generational quarterbacks because they end up heading towards garbage teams. So it always makes its way back around to the same 3 or 4 teams being in it every year.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to get an Andrew Luck. You're not going to get an RG3, every draft.
Right.
So then you end up. Yeah. You said what now?
I said not anytime soon.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not going to happen every draft. You're going to have the Trevor Lawrence and the Tuas in the next couple of years, but.
And I think that, based on their performance, that's when you'll probably get to see like if it's going to be that type of draft class. Like it's sad. Like right now, we're already talking about those guys now. When these guys really, they haven't even shown up at the combine yet because we kind of already know that it's very far fetched that these guys are going to be standouts once the combine comes. We kind of know what we got already.
Yeah,
it kind of sucks, but I mean. To me, it still brings up good football because on the back end, it's like, on the back end, we still have great talent coming out this class. Like with defensive linemen, defensive backs. You got the Greedy Williams, and you got all types of different players. But I just wanted to talk about the quarterbacks because it's very lackluster this year.
Yeah, I'm really keeping my eye on Bosa because he sat out, so. We're going to see what exactly happens and where he's going to go, where he's drafted, how he performs at the combine. Usually I don't pay too much attention to the combine, but now it's like you almost have to with Nick Bosa because he didn't play.
Well, not only that, I mean, I like to watch the combine for those type of players, the defensive players who actually have to use a technique to be successful. Watching them go through the drills, watching them run and do this, that. They're receivers that have to run routes and catch or defensive backs that have to cover. I like watching that type of the combine. Me, I don't too much watch the quarterback stuff, because to me,
Mm-hmm.
the quarterback is a mental game. Once you're under center and you're in the pocket, it's a totally different game than you just out there running around throwing the ball in the open area.
Yeah, I could care less how they perform, and I could care less how they perform in the combine.
Yeah, the QBs are totally different from all these other guys who actually have to use a real. Not taking nothing away from quarterbacks, but a quarterback that could be a statue and could sling the ball. You don't need a combine for that.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard so much about the pro days, and oh my God, this guy killed his pro day. Oh, he was horrible at his pro day. Oh, look at Jared Goff. He can throw the ball like nobody's bit. It's like, yeah, but what happens?
But you see what happens
to get to the line. It's pointless.
Yeah, because compared to you see a guy actually trying to get around another player on the field, like actually using skill, it's totally different. So continuing with the NFL, I did want to talk about this before we, I know we had some NBA stuff we wanted to talk about before we get into the games.
Mm-hmm.
But Joe Flacco is going to Denver, and I know somebody just put it up in the Oh, hold on, that's right. Now, perfect example. Dak Prescott, exactly. Well, anyway, Joe Flacco is going to Denver. Where do you guys start with that? I mean, my wife, she's just got into football not too long ago. She's a Denver Broncos fan, and she's not too happy about it.
Well, I hate the Broncos. That's first off. So I'm laughing right now because I don't know what it is about John Elway. He can't draft quarterbacks. He can't pick quarterbacks in free agency.
No. This would have been a perfect time for them to tank and try to get Lawrence or Jake Fromm.
Exactly.
This would have been a perfect time for them to do that.
They took Case Keenum as a consolation prize because they couldn't get Kirk that offseason. Now they get stuck with Case Keenum. They're going to try to either get out of his contract or trade him, whatever. They trade for Joe Flacco, which, I mean, honestly, they got him for a bargain because I think it's a mid-round pick, so probably a 3 or a 4.
Yeah, something like that.
Which isn't bad, but this isn't a competing move.
No.
This is a serviceable quarterback move. This isn't a competing move.
This is the we want to go 7-9, 8-8 move.
Right. This is a we want the fans to show up move. So here's Joe Flacco. He's won a Super Bowl. He's made it to a couple of AFC Championship games. But don't worry, because we're probably still going to suck this year. But what's going to happen is if he plays above expectations, they're going to play themselves out of contention for that first pick.
Yeah.
So they might be playing themselves.
And then
that's what I'm saying. Like I said, they were better off just going ahead and just tank. And you got
put Paxton Lynch on the field, man. Put Trevor Siemian or some bum.
Chad Kelly.
Call Christian Hackenberg or try to trade for Nathan Peterman or something like that.
AJ somewhat has a point. He said that they should have kept Tebow. That probably wouldn't have been a bad idea. The problem was when Peyton Manning came to Denver, Tebow wasn't having none of that. Tebow actually felt that he was a starter and didn't need any help. Now, don't get me wrong, he won games, but clearly he needed help being a quarterback. And
they don't have Josh McDaniels working his magic anymore.
Right. It would have been a perfect fit if he did decide to stay where he was under Peyton with Josh McDaniel. It would have helped Tebow. Tebow would have probably still been in the NFL today, but his ego got in the way. That's his problem. But I don't like it. Personally, like I said, this would have been a perfect example of you knowing that the quarterback class this year is not where you want it to be as far as the Broncos are concerned. You got a handful of quarterbacks coming out next year that would have been perfect for the situation for Denver, but they're going to make I don't like it. Like I said, this is an 8-8 move. What do you
look at his contract too while y'all?
That's what I was going to look at because right now none of his they've pretty much picked up the non-guaranteed portion of his contract. So
basically,
they can cut him at any time if he starts to decline, which he's in the middle of a decline anyway. So it's definitely, as you guys have been saying, it's a serviceable move. It's a stopgap. Especially they really don't. I don't know about their weapons. I don't know about their O-line.
The O-line is trash.
Well, they got rid of Demaryius Thomas, who just got cut by the Texans. So they basically only have Emmanuel Sanders now.
Yeah.
So the one thing about John Elway is, and it kind of goes with being like when you're the best, at a position, it's gonna be hard for you to be able to pick or coach or manage that same position. It's just like Michael Jordan running a basketball team and drafting stuff like that. Because I remember he drafted Kwame Brown with the Wizards, and it was just like, Jordan, you may have been the best player in your time, but you can't pick him.
Ain't nothing. Kwame Brown was bad.
We'll get to him in a little bit.
Kwame Brown was bad, but nothing was. This was like borderline with Adam Morrison. That was just as bad.
Adam Morrison.
At least Kwame Brown had a little bit of potential.
No, but he picked Kwame Brown over Pau Gasol.
Bro, I get it, but Adam Morrison though. At least,
Michael Jordan.
Who was after Adam Morrison though?
Who cares? That dude was.
That's what I'm saying. You don't even remember who was after him.
Hold on. I'll give him a little bit of credit though. Okay, he did pick Kemba Walker, right?
He did.
Okay, he picked Malik Monk.
Did
Monk's a good young. I thought he did. Did he?
I know
he
just because he owns the team doesn't mean he picked them.
All right, look.
He picked up MKG too, right?
I'm trying to play depth. Hey, all right. Come on, he's a scrub. Anyway,
I can't get over the Adam Morrison one.
He thought he could turn Lance Stevenson into a superstar. Come on,
but see, here's the thing.
Pick Kemba Walker.
You know what his issue is? He's a homer because he picked all them North Carolina kids that were overrated out of college. Well, he picked Sean May.
He brought all the North Carolina cats over to the Wizards. I remember that. Brendan Haywood.
Oh, Brendan Haywood. You talk about a scrub.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. That dude is excellent on ESPN, though. That dude's a great analyst on ESPN, but that dude is trash at basketball.
Yeah, because he stood all that time on the court watching everything happen. That's why he can be a great analyst.
He did a bunch of research.
When all you doing is sitting, of course you can analyze.
He did a bunch of research instead of ball.
But no, I mean, MJ has obviously been tragic as a GM. But when I'm looking at other players, DJ has a point. Just in general, players coaching or being a GM. I mean, Magic was a horrible coach. Bill Russell was a horrible coach. Elgin Baylor was a horrible GM.
Yeah.
He actually might be worse than Michael Jordan. I'd have to look into that. But yeah, he definitely has a point. And Elway with the quarterbacks is no different. It's
a lot of people want to say, everybody gonna say something about Steve Kerr and Jim Harbaugh. You got to understand, those guys aren't on the level of the other guys we're talking about.
They're not top tier players.
No, they're not top tier players.
Steve Kerr is a role player wherever he went.
Yeah, he was a role player. And Jim Harbaugh had his moments at quarterback. He played pretty well, but he wasn't that guy where you like, all right, let's talk about our quarterbacks. We talk about Elway. We talk about Montana. Harbaugh is not in that conversation.
Everybody in the chat right now, everybody that's watching this, listening to this, put somebody in the chat that was a top player, that was a great coach or front office player, front office exec. Because I want to see. I can't think of anybody.
Nobody in my
it was either they good at one or good at the other.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Luke Walton is a really good pro coach. We know what he was.
But we all know he was lower tier. He was a lower tier player.
He technically could still play, but I guess the injury.
I mean, we could talk about the beginnings of what's his name? What's the boy name?
Neff in here is talking about
what's the GM at 49ers right now?
Wait a minute, hold on. Somebody said Doc Rivers. He was a midline player. He wasn't all world.
Once or twice, I'll give him that.
He might be the closest though. Jersey said he might be the closest. Doc River might be the closest.
Okay, now I noticed this.
Okay, Ozzie Newsome. Yeah.
Okay, now I'll give you.
Ozzie Newsome.
Ozzie Newsome.
How about Doc Rivers? How about Patrick Ewing? Now I know it's not pros, but he's a damn good college coach.
I agree with that.
I give him that.
And Penny Hardaway is on his way too in Memphis too.
Penny Hardaway is a good coach. So I mean, there are a couple, but as far as the pro level, it just never works out. It doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
So
like I said, Jim Harbaugh is. Like I said, he had his moments when he was in Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. At one point, he was like that quarterback that you wanted to root for because you know he tried his hardest. But he's not on a John Elway, Michael Jordan level. He's not that prominent of a player.
Nah, yeah.
So I agree. Speaking of, before we get into games, You said you wanted to talk about.
Let's get into the Let's get.
You said you wanted to get into the Michael Jordan thing, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and go.
I think Michael Jordan is arguably the greatest basketball player to ever live. I think he definitely has an argument. This is my issue. When people talk about the greatest of all time, sometimes they have these slanted, hypocritical views, and it just drives me crazy. Because if they're going to create the narrative that rings mean everything, then he's not the greatest basketball player of all time. But what makes it even more annoying is the fact that they change their narrative based on what you counter them with. So if we're having a debate about who's the greatest of all time, they can never keep a consistent basis of who the greatest of all time is, because every time you bring something up, they'll just change the narrative. And I think that that's the issue when assessing these players all time. Keep one narrative and then just support who you think is the greatest of all time with facts. I just don't get why it has to be, well, he won 6 championships. Well, Bill Russell has 11. Yeah, but he won 6 MVP. It's like, stop changing. Like, go with one and stick with it.
Are you referring us to the comment that he said about the 6 rings?
Yeah, because what happened was they were asking him a question about what do you think is harder to average the triple-double streak or the 30 points per game streak? And he said, I think 6 championships is harder. So I went on Facebook and I said,
now stop right there before you go to Facebook. Now, are you fighting? Are you faulting Mike for saying that, or are you going against?
I'm definitely faulting him for saying that because
why?
Because it wasn't relevant to the question.
No, it isn't. But it is very irrelevant. I get it, but you got to understand who is saying it and why he's saying it. You have to understand. Michael Jordan is an old head. Don't get me wrong. He's an old head. He does not, to this day, and based on some of his picks that he had, Mike does not understand today's basketball as it is today. He understands the game of basketball, but he doesn't understand basketball as it is today. And what people are saying, what they're doing with these feats that James Harden and Westbrook are doing is great. But you understand he's an old head. And so I expect for him to say something like that because I know his mentality from watching him for decades. So I don't fault him for it. I expected that from him.
Well, I mean, it's not an expectation. It's like at the end of the day, I could expect him to say it, but it still doesn't mean that I agree with what he said. Because
of course, it's his opinion versus yours and anybody else's. Opinion was at the end of the day.
But DJ, his opinion was irrelevant to the question. If I ask you a question and there are 2 options and you give a third option, you're not answering the question.
But you're asking Michael Jordan this question.
I get what you're saying, but that would make Mike Mike. You when he says something like that, like, okay, there you go again with that bullshit. Because he always,
okay. So here's my thing. He hit them with that bullshit, and then I said I think 11 championships are more impressive. And then people started coming and hanging off his nutsack. And I'm like,
then go back. And then I'm sure your anger is mostly at them. And
no. My anger is at him because when he says shit like this, all that happens is his fanboys come and they feel the need to.
It empowers them.
It empowers them every time he does
them anyway.
I understand where Bill's coming from. Now I get that. That makes sense.
It's like when LeBron was like, well, after when they were asking him about all his teammates getting traded. Oh, well, it's a business. He's empowering people to say, oh, well, LeBron's a GM.
He's empowering people, really?
How is he not?
He's saying the very. What would you expect? What would you expect him to be humble?
I would rather Michael Jordan pick one and say either Westbrook or Harden, or you could say, I think they're both impressive. They're very difficult. And I think both of those players are great players. And then
that's not been MJ.
You got to understand, Michael Jordan competes with everybody on every level.
I get it.
That's just how he is.
That's why he's been named the ultimate competitor.
So when I say 11 rings, I shouldn't hear anything then.
But at the back,
he's still going to challenge it.
He's going to do it. Like, say for instance, if they ask him about Bill Russell's rings, he would have been like, "Well, I got 6 in this era, and he played with yada yada yada." That's just how he is.
But that's my point. So I don't get how he can do that. But when I say something, no.
Yeah, now, Bills, you know me. I've been a Bulls fan since the early '90s. You know, people like me compared to the fanatics who just can't get off his man nuts. You know the difference.
I know the difference between you, but I'm addressing them right now because they are stupid. Because, like, bro, literally, I put a post up about that, and everybody, I was like, 9 players have more championships than him. Well, how many of them did that? I said that's not what the topic was.
So my question is, who fed who? Michael Jordan didn't empower. I think you put out the bait.
No, Michael Jordan.
But you put out the bait by even challenging that.
Under the comment section.
Saying, so you caused your own grief, in other words.
Under the comment section of every single post involving this, there was one person that would say, well, you don't have the most championships. And then here comes like 5 fanboys with their freaking Jordan freaking Snuggies next to wearing a fucking Jumpman mouthpiece and shit. Oh well, I think it's like shut the fuck up, bro. Like I just think that if you're gonna say something like that, then people should be able to come out and say something in return. That's all I think.
Folks,
I'm with you.
All I'm saying, wait a minute, hold on.
My thing is, I wouldn't expect you to go after Jordan because Jordan would have said that no matter who they would have brought up, if they would have brought up Barkley, if they would have brought up LeBron, if they would have brought up Kobe, he would always try to compare himself to them because he's always been that type of player.
So his was tongue. I think it was very funny what he said. I think it was tongue in cheek. I think it was funny, but God, the way it inspires these fanboys to sit and defend, it's disgusting, man.
But it's their choice.
AJ, you can't say y'all got rings in y'all's history. It might go back to like the Nixon era, but y'all got rings. Shit. In my opinion, LeBron is the greatest of all.
Oh boy, here we go. More bait.
I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
It's not even bait.
That's bait. That is loaded right there. That is loaded.
He has a case. I mean, that's
everybody has a case.
I'm just feel like I'm a Jordan guy, and I'm a Jordan guy, and I respect people's opinion because I've seen what LeBron has done in his career, and I could get why people would say it.
You look at it differently.
But at the end of the day, I'm a Jordan guy, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
No, but I'm saying you look at it differently because a lot of people look at accolades and championships. They have, but we look at eye tests and we look at how they play on the court as opposed to sitting there calculating advanced analytics. Yeah.
Most people just look at numbers and don't see what.
We're more in the analytical society now than we were before because you look at players like Jordan and Kobe in particular, those were killers on the court. You couldn't get away with anything. They wouldn't let you get away with anything. Yeah. And I think I seen it in a commercial. I seen it in a commercial earlier. They was like, well, because they talked about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They talked about. I don't think they still didn't bring up Wilt Chamberlain, and that is killing me. Well, see, they still do not bring up Wilt Chamberlain even in the commercials.
Here's my question for that
conversation.
Here's my question for that. So they're talking about this James Harden streak, and this is where I start getting into the really hating analytics. Now, this dude is shooting horrible from the 3-point line.
Absolutely. Right? Nobody wants to talk about that though.
But because they would rather. Well, his real shooting percentage, his true shooting percentage, is his fucking field goal percentage. Stop acting like it's anything else. They're basically saying, well, he's taking a harder shot. So it should be judged differently. No, he's taking a dumb shot and he's missing. So he should be criticized and ridiculed for that. Like, I don't get how you can. That's like saying if I throw in the double coverage every time that my real completion percentage should be different. How?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
That makes so these analytics guys, what they do is they sit around on the computers all day. And they look at these stats and they tabulate stats and then they say stupid shit like Klay Thompson is the best player in the league. and then when people challenge him on it, well, you just don't get analytics. No, you're stupid. You have no idea what you're talking about. Like they'll say, they talk about him taking no dribbles. Look how many points he scored. He's not taking any dribbles. He's a spot-up shooter.
You know what? I got a question about that. Why did they go out their way and talk about who that was? Bradley Beal took like 20 steps? Right. Why they went out of way? Why did they talk about that? You know what? I haven't heard them say nothing about James.
I want to hear DJ's take on this.
Okay.
Definitely.
So I can see where the ref.
I'm not saying that he traveled. It's just the fact. Why did they go out the way
he
to
traveled.
talk about it?
No, he traveled.
He traveled. He traveled twice.
What happened is the ref that called it, he made a signal. He thought it was tipped, and because Bradley does kind of lose control, but he loses control on his own.
Yeah.
So it would not qualify for losing control in the sense that he can regain his dribble. They actually broke out the rule book for this.
See, that's what I'm saying.
He traveled, and the ref the back ref on that side where he drove from is the one who called it a tip. But the thing is, why would
they do that? But they clearly you see James Harden doing bullshit, and I don't see nobody pulling
because him keeping the streak alive draws ratings.
Yep,
and him shooting 4 for 19 from
and
the
that's
field.
How you know the NBA is rigged.
Of course,
that's how you know it's rigged.
Because Kevin Durant is a far superior scorer to James Harden, and I don't care what anybody says. They can bring all the analytics they want to. Kevin Durant is a more skilled scorer than James Harden. He never a streak like this.
Oh, yeah.
He had the 25-point streak that he actually let end, and he didn't have to let it end. I mean, Jordan had some crazy streak as far as that's concerned that KD was chasing, and he probably could have approached it, but they were winning in a blowout, and he just kind of sat out.
Right.
So it's like he was shooting 50% from the field at that time. James Harden shoot like 41% from the field. Like, what are we talking about? Like, does efficiency mean nothing? Can a dude just go out and take 35 shots, and as long as he somehow crawls his way to 30 points, it's just okay? I don't get it.
It's just like the equivalent in baseball when people go on long hitting streaks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, where if that person goes like 0 for 3 and then they get that hit in that final at bat, and it's like, the streak continues. It's pretty much that's what's going on right now.
I think this is back to what we were talking about before when we were talking about like what's rigged or this, that, and the third. I'm not necessarily saying it's rigged, but they're trying their best.
It's rigged. Trust me.
DJ knows
they're trying their best.
I'm serious. Somebody tried to debate me as far as, and this was at work when we were talking about what sports could be more rigged than others, and I said hockey for no absolute reason. It's harder to rig because the object of the sport is harder to control than those other sports.
I can agree.
But then the only thing you could possibly look at is the goaltenders. Somebody may, paid off a goaltender here and there. They may have like, hey.
Because you can keep putting teams in power play situations, but that would pretty much be the
but you still need the goaltender to.
You can call a bullshit interference call or a lack of interference call.
Yeah, but I mean,
you still need the goaltender you still need the goaltender to be more lax on a particular play. Yeah, because that goal is only but so big.
So I think that's where the coaches come in.
He's trying his best to play devil's advocate.
I know.
But I'm saying I think I agree with you. But I'm saying I think for them to do it, the coaches would have to come in.
Yeah.
That's where it's much like baseball. Like the managers would have to kind of have an impact on that.
Throw the ball as hard. Throw it closer to the strike zone.
Or who you're starting, or there's a lot of factors. But I mean, the NBA is so easy. Get 2 easy fouls, get 2 quick fouls on the star player, and sit them down. And that's pretty much what they do. I mean, this year they're trying to create storylines because Golden State's pretty much just bored.
That's what I was getting. That's what I was getting. So I was thinking that they were basically they're trying their best to pull people in because they feel that they can get more and more. Like, people don't realize that. Well, executives don't realize that just basic basketball or basic football or just having the sport play out itself will draw the crowd. And I'm not saying just basic bad basketball. Just play the game. The players are going to shine. And when they do that, people are going to come in. You don't need a streak or, look at this guy can shoot 23s in a row and jacking up shots.
But the issue is if they didn't rig these games, then Golden State would have never been a dynasty to begin with because they would have lost to Memphis about 3 years ago.
Well, not only that, weren't they down 3-1 to the Oklahoma at one point?
And Oklahoma had 2 games at home. Now ain't that some shit?
Yeah. Just basic. If you just play the sport out, people will watch. You don't need to push it. Look, the AAF is a perfect example of that.
Yes.
If you just play the sport, people will watch.
Don't try to push a narrative with your commentators. Another thing AAF does well.
Yeah, they just play the sport. You know, your players on the field will shine.
Definitely,
100% of the time. You know, so I mean, anything else y'all want to take from that? You know, we got some bullshit trades that happened in the NBA. Tobias Harris goes to Philly.
Man, I'm tired of everybody calling him the prohibitive favorite just because of that trade. You still got Jimmy Butler causing a huge just.
Had
Gasol go to can't beat the Celtics.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about that's Joel Embiid versus Al Horford.
Yeah, he was like he was sleepwalking for 3 quarters. That's my bad. I'm like, what are you sleepwalking for?
He body up Drummond, but can't do shit with Al Horford.
Yeah, Horford. I used to think Horford was a chump.
I did too.
But he's definitely toughened up.
Sure, I thought his buddy in it when they were teammates in Atlanta, Millsap. Yeah, I thought he was a chump.
Millsap is a chump
for no reason.
A strong wind could blow that dude down if he needs.
I don't too much care for him.
No wind could knock that dude down.
That man, all right, man. Oh, but you know what? Though, speaking of that, I'm gonna say this right now. I was gonna say this in the beginning of the podcast, but I forgot. I will say right now, Bills. I want to apologize to you because I was dead wrong about Trae Young. That dude could ball.
Bro, the only thing I doubted was his shot selection. He was taking some crazy shots in college.
Man, I know. I called him Trash Young. I thought it was terrible. I'm serious, man. I did, man. I take that back, man. That dude developed pretty quick, man. That dude's good, man. He
had like I think 5 or 6 games at 20 and 10.
Yeah, I mean they just played the Lakers last night. He had 24 and 11, man.
Oh, he cooked them boys.
Yeah, I was like, yo, man. I got.
Speaking of the Lakers, the current storyline is LeBron checking out?
He was.
Yeah, I'm hearing that starting to creep up in the storyline.
You don't care if they make the playoffs.
I think they're definitely gonna make the playoffs. I think the trade deadline is not trade deadline. The All-Star break is always a time with LeBron's teams. They always create this storyline like, oh, well, you know, they're not looking like they're supposed to, and then they come out the second half, and all of a sudden everything's just fine. I think that's what'll end up happening. Obviously, they can't make any trades now, so they're gonna just have to go as is. They're trying to get Markieff Morris, I guess, out of free agency. I mean, I don't really know what that does.
I think, honestly, that you dance with the girl you brought to the dance. Yes. I think it would be fine if they would have just this turmoil with the trade and stuff did not help. But I think if they would have just continued to play with what they had and try to develop, I think it would have been all right.
They were a 4 seed before the injuries started happening.
That's what I'm saying.
Then all of a sudden they wanted to destroy the team, and Luke Walton's the problem, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I'm saying, just dance with the one that brought you. You got there, stick with it. That'd have been all right. And I think that all this turmoil and it didn't help. And
do you believe that at the trade deadline, no matter if the Lakers were a 1 or a 10 seed, they were going to try to gut the team and get Anthony Davis so they wouldn't have to worry about it in the offseason? Because part of me thinks even if they were in the playoffs, they still were going to pull that.
Yeah, possibly.
Look at what they've done early in the season. They could win 5 straight and 1 bad loss. All of a sudden, is Luke Walton should be fired. It's like, come on, dude.
Well, that's a narrative that they need to stop because Luke Walton, he doesn't deserve to be going through what he's going through. That dude is a good coach.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like okay, after the Lakers started out 500, it was like, oh well, Magic Johnson had a talk with Luke Walton after the game. It's like, come on, bro. Like y'all don't need to create.
I just noticed this pattern. It's like every team, and unfortunately, I center it around LeBron. It's like every team that LeBron has played for, the coach always comes under fire, no matter if they're winning or they're losing.
Yeah.
So something's got to be. Something's got to give.
It's funny because it was the same shit with Magic until Pat Riley got there.
Yeah. Same thing with Eric Spoelstra until Riley stepped in.
Yeah.
So
that's
and Eric Spoelstra proved me wrong too. He turned out to be a pretty decent coach because I was like, look who you're coaching. You're coaching 3 Hall of Famers. Elmer Fudd could be at the coaching that team.
Oh God!
But actually, Spoelstra has actually done pretty good for himself in Miami. I do. But back to what I was saying, that boy Trae Young, don't get me wrong, Doncic is good too. I would have loved for Atlanta would have had him, but I get it. I understand why they have Trae Young, and I think with the city of Atlanta, I low key do think, and I know this gonna have some type of racial undertone. I do feel that he's a better fit in Atlanta than Luka. I do believe that, and I think that more fans will embrace him on the basketball court more than they would have with Luka, even if Luka was putting up these numbers.
I'm gonna go to the grave thinking this though. This is isolated, but I'm gonna go to the grave thinking the Celtics should have traded Kyrie just now at the trade deadline.
They could have or they couldn't.
Could have.
I know there was that thing that Rose rule.
They couldn't trade for AD because he was on the team, but they could have traded him for AD.
Okay, I see.
And I'm thinking based on all the talk I hear about how Boston could trade for him, and I keep hearing Tatum's name come up.
No,
dude,
stop it.
If Tatum gets traded, bro, I will never watch another Celtics game.
No, that dude needs to stay a Celtic. There's no reason for you to be trading. Tatum should be the one guy on that team is untouchable.
I will find somebody to get me free tickets to a Celtics game to go and heckle the hell out of Danny Ainge. like, bro, there is no way in hell I am trading Jason Tatum for anybody right now. And that's not saying he's the best player in the league. But what it's saying is when you go out of your way to get that number 3 pick, and you trade all those guys.
I can see you right now. You go. If they traded him, you'll go to a game with and say Duck Fanny Ainge. You'll have a shirt to say Duck Fanny Ainge.
It would be bad. That's all I'm gonna say. It would be bad. He better not. Jaylen Brown, fine, get rid of him. Hayward, I'm sorry to see you go, but fine, get rid of him. Rozier, definitely get rid of him. But Tatum got to stay.
No, he has to stay. I agree. There you go, right there in the chat. That's you.
Duck Fanny Ainge.
I can see you wearing that shirt.
Jesus Christ.
Man, anyway, anything else y'all want to talk about as far as real sports? I mean, I think everything's covered. I'm actually looking forward to these AAF games. Absolutely. I'm hooked. It's good to have football outside of football.
Most definitely.
Definitely.
I know this is going to be real quick because I want to talk about the game development issues, but Apex Legends went up. They have 25 mil unique users within the first week. EA needs to learn. They need to learn how this works because all this other shit that they've been doing with these games, a free-to-play game is basically saving them. How ironic is that? All these loot boxes and stuff's going on and microtransactions. A free-to-play game is bailing them out. That's
I
crazy.
thought about downloading that today, but I was
it's actually not a bad game. It's pretty good.
I'm still skipping it. But I did hear something through an article. I can't recall that article right now, but the people that put out, what was it, Respawn? Yeah, Respawn. They basically said that EA has nothing to do with the decision process or the development of this game and to have it put out. So I thought hearing that was kind of interesting that a lot of people have taken to this game and how popular it has become in a short period of time.
I think that absolutely has something to do with it. Yeah,
it had no hand in it, so it's just like.
But still, EA is making money on the back end, and now their stock is back up to normal from this game. Like I said, it's funny how you.
I was looking at my stocks. Yeah, they are definitely up.
It's funny you try to nickel and dime everybody, and everything plummets. But everything that people tell you y'all should have done from the beginning and just be up front and make a game that's playable and honest to people is actually bailing you out. I think it's kind of funny that happened. But overall, I think the game is pretty decent. They could tweak some things. I'm not into battle royales, but I did give it a shot because it was free. I did give the devs 10 of my dollars. For putting out a decent game. I actually enjoy it, but I don't see myself playing it that much. But it's free. It was cool.
I'll tell you another thing that still needs to be free.
Go ahead. Bring it up because that's going to be a part of the game development issues. Go ahead. Say what you got to say.
All right. So, NBA Live 19.
It's $6 right now. Go get it.
So, it still needs to be free. Their recent patches that they came out with, one of them, the update included real in-game injuries.
Right.
Which is, I'm like,
Finally, right?
After 10 years of developing this game,
hey, wait a minute.
Real in-game injuries.
Wait a minute.
I'm happy.
Live 10 now. Live 10 had injuries.
That's what I'm saying. It's been, but I'm saying that from Live 10 was the last time you seen real in-game injuries. And then after that, of course, the game went away for a little bit. Then Elite 11 tried to come out. That didn't happen. Some people.
Thank you, Hard 8. Thank you.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And then next time you saw live was Live 14. And then from 14, 15, 16, there was no 17, 18, and 19. 19 up until what was it? What was last week? It was right after our podcast that they finally put in-game injuries into the game. So it's like, that's good. You're finally caught up with the rest of the developed civilization when it comes to sports video games and real in-game injuries. But why did it take so long to just put that one real strategic aspect of an NBA game into your game?
What are your thoughts, Bills?
I think it's an overall fail.
Man, I think it's too little too late for most people who haven't bought it. Honestly, I don't have much to say about it. I've had the game since launch. I've already given my thoughts about, what did he say? EA's gameplay is worse than a mosquito flying out of Magic Johnson's house? You need to stop. Oh, my God.
Oh, no. Oh.
You saying he got to throw his nosebleed tissues into a different trash can, or that's what that's like? Oh my God! But anyway, yeah, I think it's too little, too late. I don't think people care. Honestly, I think the people who have the game should be thrilled about it. They can start their franchise now. But as far as people who haven't bought the game, they have no reason to care. I mean, it's too little, too late, man.
And then on top of that,
I will say the patch does for me, and I can't. I can pretty much confirm that the patch you did not have to restart your franchise for the injuries to occur.
Oh, God forbid you had to do that.
Yeah, my injuries, they occur, and I put out a big thread on NBA Live, and I look at it.
I think I retweeted and encouraged people to read the whole thread.
If anybody buy the game at $6 now, I mean, what Bill said, I think it's too little, too late. I mean, the half of the season's already over. If you're going to buy the game for $6, just go straight to street ball.
Pretty much.
Yeah, don't try to go into I mean, it's just too late to go in and just try to play real basketball at this point.
Or you can get $6 worth of gas and that's what you do. And go home and play 2K. That's what you do.
That's like a couple of gallons right there.
Go to GameStop and buy another game.
Yeah, go and buy APF. Go and buy APF and fucking a couple.
Yeah, APF is like $3 now if you can find it.
Right. Yeah, go buy WWF No Mercy from some mom and pop store or something.
Not only that, I mean, hell, you can probably end up getting Live 10 for like $2 if you still got a PS3 or 360.
Shit, I'd be skeptical about that, yo. Get a couple packets of ketchup for $2, man.
But anyway, my main thing, I bought the game from day one. I got it. As a matter of fact, I pre-ordered Live. Me and Bills played Live. We enjoyed it. Live 19 itself is not a bad game. It really isn't. It's a good basketball game. If you look at a bad basketball, go back and look at where Live 14 was. Look at some parts of 15, 16.
Look at all of 16.
Yeah,
all of 16. Including that dumbass weapon wheel play call system.
You see, that's what I'm saying. With Live 19, when you look at the problems with Live 19, these are like basic small tweaks that you will see in any other sports game. The game is not like trash like it was in the past.
No.
The problem with Live 19 is, like I said in my thread, it's a victim of everything happened prior to that. This is a really good game that you cannot be able to embrace anymore because of all the blunders that happened since Live 13. And when a lot of people may not know about Live 13, there's a YouTube video. It might still be up with the footage of Live 13. I'm gonna see if I can look it up while we talk. There's footage of it where Live 13 was just abysmal. It was a terrible game, and ever since then, the problems just kept going.
I honestly would say if you want the real impressions of what Live 19 should have been, play the demo.
Pretty much.
Because the demo was way better than the full game turned out to be. Way better.
Let me see if this thing is still. But that's what I'm saying. It's like
I remember Live 13. That was not a good show.
I mean, you're talking about. Oh, here it is right here. Oh my God, they still got it up. Thank you. I'm gonna put this link in the chat so y'all can see it. I mean, everything.
Oh, that game was awful.
Yeah, everything that happened from the bad avatars, the Live 14 release, Live 15 is not getting any love. 16 with the total 180 from what 15 was. I mean, Live 18 was just not there yet. The avatar situation where players didn't look like themselves. I mean, Live 19, people can say what they want about an EA product, but this game was actually a pretty good product. Like Bill said, even when it came out, it was not a bad game. Yeah, it had its ups and downs with the patches or whatever the case may be, but right now for $6, it's a pretty good basketball game. But nobody gives a fuck now because NBA Live, the name itself is just tarnished.
I think that's the issue with EA in general with their basketball and football games is too little too late.
That's the Live 13 link. That's the actual game of Live 13. If you want to look at it.
Oh, that OKC. Oh,
yes, this game, that was Live 13. And ever since from there, it's just been one blunder after another. Even when it was on the straight and narrow and they had Scott O'Gallagher helping them with Live 14 and definitely with 15, you see them trying to do something. And they abandoned all of that, and you saw Live 16. Then it was like, here we go again, live on the bullshit. But they're like, now after all of that, Live 19 and possibly Live 20 could be a phenomenal game. But when they see what the name of the game, they're going to walk by it and get 2K. And I don't blame the consumer for that. You lost confidence in the consumer with this game, and that. It sucks, but that's just what you have to deal with.
Now, let me jump in because Chris asked, you going to talk about EA stock. I can report that it's gone up 5.2% within the last, I would say within the last week. So right now, mainly due to the Apex Legends game, I think is the driving force behind their stock rising. They're sitting at what is it? They're sitting at $102 per share right now. So it's better than where it was last week, which I think it was sitting around like 80 or something dollars per share, but it definitely has gone up, and it has to largely do with the Apex game.
I need to find out where can I get this game. I would love to have this game on my hard drive on my PS3.
NBA Live 13?
Yeah, just to have it. I got Elite 11. I mean, I just would love this just to have this game.
Hey, NBA Elite 11 looks like it's better than that shit.
It is.
And then also just a report on Take-Two, because I have them actually side by side. They've actually overtaken Take-Two per share, because Take-Two sitting at $92 per share, and they've actually been declining a little bit. So
all right, 2K, you better put that Charles Barkley card out.
Oh man!
See,
if 2K get anything Charles Barkley, I'm serious. If 2K get anything Charles Barkley, that will continue to punch Live in the mouth.
Yo, if I want what I need, this is a selfish consumer. I stopped giving a fuck about NBA Live long ago. What I need is them to get Charles Barkley onto the pregame show next year, and I need the Phoenix Suns to be in the game with him on it. That's what I need. And I need the Pistons to get Rasheed Wallace, because I don't know why Rasheed Wallace hasn't been in the game. Those are just two random things.
That's funny, because last time I remember Rasheed Wallace even being in the game was when he was still on an active roster. And I had a little clip of that where he shoved LeBron out in the interaction I forgot which 2K it was, but it was kind of like a funny interaction.
I wish I could find it.
Hold on. Chris is in 2039 on us right now. Chris said he played Game Day on the PS4, yo. That dude is all that.
You said underrated.
No, fuck that. He said he played 2.
No, not fuck that. He said I have to say that game is so underrated. Let me tell you something, Chris.
No,
all right.
No, I don't care about
that.
I don't care about that man playing game day on the PS4.
You know what, VF? That's fine. But what I'm about to say right now.
It was a mistake. He meant the PS2.
I know. I'm just messing, man.
But that's what I was about to get on him for. I was about to get on him for it. No, it's not rated at all because nobody's played it other than you, bro. You're the only person with a copy.
I hated Game Day. That franchise was garbage.
I had Game Day, and my main thing, the only thing I liked about Game Day was the jerseys. I didn't too much care for the game.
I'll tell you what I liked about Game Day, the fact that running up the middle was 6 every time. That's what I liked.
You're averaging 4 or 5 a game. That's true.
That's what I liked about Game Day. Other than that game was garbage.
But the one thing I liked about Game Day is that I could sit my cup on top the disc. That's what so I can protect my tables and stuff like that. That's the one thing I liked about Game Day. That's the only reason I have Game Day is just to.
If y'all look at this gameplay of Live 13, my God, this is fucking terrible, yo.
If you were stuck with only being able to play 2 games, would you play Live 13 or Game Day?
I play Game Day. I'm playing.
Is there an option to blow my brains out?
No. I'm Live 13 right now. I'll play Game Day.
I'm taking Live 13.
Nah, you ain't looking at this footage, bro.
When it originally came out.
Yeah. You need to go out and click that link and look at that. I'll play Game Day. I'm good. I'll play Game Day. But I'm just saying it sucks, man, because Live is Live 19 don't deserve this, man. It's actually a decent game, man. It's none of all bullshit aside. It's good, but oh my God, after everything that the people at EA done to this game is fucking terrible.
What EA has done to gaming in general, they've killed off like all the major studios that they've bought in the past have declined, or are non-existent. I know one thing. I'm a big fan of like Sim Builders and City Builders. Max's, that was a good studio until EA bought it, and now it doesn't even exist anymore. So,
and so I mean, and people are dealing with this with Madden right now. I mean,
oh God, the talk about Madden right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about
bugs and the non-game, the non-football principle plays that we're seeing.
Nobody tackling don't mean a damn thing in that game.
Bills
and
alert, SmackDown.
And then the rehashing of devs being I don't mean to laugh because I know some of the complaints have resulted in death threats and stuff like that towards the devs. But now the current issue is like, oh, why aren't the devs talking? Well, stop threatening them every time a bug comes up.
Right.
Because you don't hear the devs talking like they were before because people don't know how to interact on Twitter. And this is like,
speaking of interacting on Twitter, Clint's been active on Twitter lately. I'm actually surprised.
Yeah, he's been clapping back at folks because like one person was like, it was like, if you're on the team next year, they swear to God after this Madden, and he's like, okay, so if I'm gone, what is that gonna do for the game?
Not gonna do anything.
No, exactly. I'm like, Rex left, and it wasn't his fault. I'm like, clearly what Rex put out there and deleted is the major reason why that game is in hell right now.
Just for the record, Rex, you can't tweet and delete in this era, bro.
No, you know that's gonna be around.
Twitter remembers all.
Something called notifications.
There's actually a certain commentator that decided to put out a tweet, a video about somebody's missing a hand.
Oh my God! Wild. Game Day has a blue book value of a skanky hooker with a loose G-string. Yo, you gotta chill.
Wow.
Yo, man, I'm not. I'm just gonna put this.
How would Neff know about a skanky hooker with a loose G-string?
Hey, look, man. Some nights
he been spending his Friday nights.
Some nights, man.
You up late night? Feel like nobody's around?
Oh.
But no, but seriously though, it's like the development of Madden is like I don't. It sucks because it goes along with the issues of games as well. It's like with Madden, it's kind of what we piggybacked on last week. Like it's not going to go. I don't think it'll ever go in the direction we wanted to go at this point. We
It
just
seemed like they don't want motherfuckers to play it because I was having a good time the other day and then my shit froze.
Oh Lord, are you serious?
Yeah, I was in a competitive game. I was having fun. Sliders were working, and then it just froze.
But see, that's what I'm saying. I think at this point, when you get the game, if you decide to get the game, we're just gonna have a community to fix the game, whether through sliders or if you're on PC, play it through a mod or whatever case may be. Because they got 750 plus billion reasons not to make this game the way we want it to.
Yeah,
and it's dollars.
It's
It's $1 bills. You know, they get all that money off of the bullshit. Like, you know,
all I know is that what I'm doing with live right now is preparing me for what I have to do. I know now what I have to do this fall.
Yeah.
Okay, what is that?
I'm gonna be
waiting for it to
not
come
buy
free.
Madden. I know. It's funny because I talked about it last year. I was threatening that I wasn't gonna buy Madden last year, and using live as that. You know, okay, I'm gonna use. Definitely live, I'm not going to get it. Even if it's free, I'm not even going to get it. And it's going to prepare me for Madden because I'm like viewing those stats and seeing how like the community is all in disarray and stuff like that. And yeah, it's preparing me not to buy Madden for 20. So like when anybody suggests anything about Madden gameplay, franchise or whatnot, I'm just like, you know what? No, that's it. 19 was it for me. So.
I think with Madden, I didn't buy Madden this year. I just happened to get it on the EA Origin Access. So I got a subscription to EA Origin Access, so I played it through there, and I think it's a good game.
The PC version plays better than the console version. Let's just say it.
I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, it does.
PC version is way better than the console version. So the console peasants are largely the ones that are complaining about.
Oh, speaking of PC gamers, W. Kemp just bought him a laptop that actually has pretty good specs on it. Kemp. So I told him, it's going to change. You're looking, the way you look at games is going to change a little bit. You know.
Yep.
I'm actually
don't have to pay for online services, and
right.
Like, you can participate in other services where you don't have to pay full price.
One more person out here we need to go ahead and try to convert to some form of PC gaming, but
all right.
He don't want to take the plunge yet. So
you know what? So this next topic we were going to talk about.
Seriously, now, if you don't want to build a rig, seriously, I knew it. But I didn't realize how powerful some of these laptops are. And W. Kemp got a pretty decent laptop that's slightly better than my rig for $500. That's actually pretty decent. That's really good. So you might want to look into that. Like, my rig runs like 1440p games at 60 for the most of the time, and he got one better than mine for a little bit over $500. That's a really good deal. And with the laptop, you can hook it up to a TV easily. So it's not like you're, limited or whatever.
Or you can do the alternate and power down and get a Nintendo Switch.
Oh Lord!
And let's see, and play, and possibly down the road play Link's Awakening, where Mario characters are appearing in the game now. From what I saw in the Nintendo Direct and from a trailer,
and nobody care about that shit, DJ.
Man,
I'm just saying.
Or you know what I could do is I could have somebody give me a PC and sell it for $500 and go record my music. That's what I can do.
No, seriously though, like I want to play Bayonetta 3. 1 and 2 those are fantastic games, and Bayonetta 3 is only coming out on the Switch exclusively. So I'm getting it for that.
Hold up. I know there's another way you can get it. Bet Kid Smooth. You'll guarantee to win. Bet Kid Smooth, and you'll win something.
Speaking of Patriots fans, yo, how you get Patriots fans like that? That dude's a loser, yo. I mean, I like him and all that. That dude, he loses in everything, man. How he lose?
He was locked on crack there.
That's 98% of Patriots fans. I tried to tell y'all.
It's like, yo, he losing. Yeah, he lost in Crackdown 3. Like, I mean, look, don't get Weapon Wheel podcast. I'm still waiting to come back. I know they're busy. I don't mind going on the podcast every now and then, but that Kiss Move is good people, man. But man, when it comes to gaming, man, L's all day.
Just the Mayweather gif.
Exactly.
Oh wow.
Take the L, get the money. Take the L, get the money. But no, but seriously though, I don't care about Nintendo Direct. People were talking about it. The people was asking me on Twitter, and I was like, "Yo, just call me when Bayonetta 3 comes out, because I will play Bayonetta 3, and that's like the only reason why I want to Switch. I don't care about Mario Maker. I don't care about Zelda like that. I mean, hell, I still need to finish the Zeldas I've been playing on my Wii U. I
already have my nostalgia trip coming back with Crash Team Racing, so I'm good.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying. Like the stuff I have now, I'm not trying to go back to those titles to get my fix. So like I still have that stuff. Like I still have Mario Maker 1. I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't need the more. I definitely don't need more Mario. I mean,
well,
I've been playing Mario. I've been playing with Mario since
that remake of Link's Awakening. You're gonna get more Mario characters appearing in it.
Like that,
they got the little. They got the little the monster that comes that's on the chain. The ball, that whatever that monster is called, that's on there, and apparently Goomba's in it too.
No, I'm good.
I was just like, what's next? Is King Koopa gonna be a dungeon boss that you go into? I'm just waiting for that to happen. So.
Yo, Chris just asked, is anybody getting a new Dead or Alive game? That's a given. That Dead or Alive, yeah, hell yeah.
I'm not getting it.
I'm getting it. Fuck that.
I'm waiting for Virtual Fighter 6.
No, I want that too. I do want that. That a lot of people they be shitting on Virtual Fighter, but that's a damn good series. But no, I'm getting Dead or Alive 6. Oh yeah,
and I'm good.
Yeah. Well, I was saying, like the Switch is cool and all that, but it's a handheld trying to act as a console, and not just something I'm good. Give me Bayonetta 3, and once I finish that, I'll probably sell it.
Yo, this just in, Jeff Teague sucks.
Oh yeah, I could tell you that.
Yeah.
He's fucking garbage.
I could have told you that.
I just wanted to remind people he's garbage.
Yeah.
He's not good.
No, he could have been good, but he's not.
Oh, this I want to ask. And going back to the NBA for a little bit. So what are your thoughts on Otto Porter thus far on the Bulls?
So far, so good. So far, so good. I'm cool so far.
Yeah, it was nice seeing Parker dunk all over your team.
Well, you know,
it was pretty good just watching.
What do you
call him? Jabari Trash or Trash Parker?
He is that. He still will be that.
He sat there, he dunked on marketing, and then he kept dunking on your team, and it's like he had a chip. Don't
get surprised.
Right. Call me 20 Otto Porter disappear in that game. Definitely did disappear in that game.
Call me 20 games down the road when you're ready to get rid of him.
Wait a minute, hold up. How many games have? I know I'm not really talking trash about the Bulls. I just like how this trade is working out for both teams.
Well, yeah,
I believe, like I said last week, I think the Wizards got a steal in this trade.
You think so?
Like, we also got a draft pick. We got a draft pick out of
Hold on. Which trade are you talking? You talking about the Portis trade or the
Porter? And we took Portis, Parker, and a draft pick.
Now, Portis, I would say Portis is a pretty good pickup. I would keep
How about this? Neither team lost this trade. You want to know why? Because neither one of them have Jimmy Butler now.
Oh, that is true.
So they're both winners.
Really won that one.
Phillies, they're gonna regret that.
Yeah, man, I'm actually looking forward to Dead or Alive 6. I love that series. That's a real. I've been playing that series since it came on original Xbox. On Dead or Alive 3.
I want to know why they're putting Ultimate Alliance on the goddamn Switch. Ain't nobody want to buy no Switch to play that. They didn't put it on consoles.
Hey, man, listen. Go get a Switch.
Yeah, fuck that.
Find it in a Mario.
I'll flip a Switch. I'll flip a Switch in the headquarters.
Yo, what's up with you showing up at people's headquarters, man? What you gonna do now? First of all, you wanted to get up on Danny Ainge, and now you about to go on. What you gonna do?
I didn't say I was showing up to the Celtics headquarters. I said I was showing up to the arena.
Yeah, I can see you not going to Nintendo. Duck Fario.
No. No, Bills was having road rage. I saw what you posted.
Oh, yeah.
You said it on Facebook. Yeah.
That wasn't really road rage per se.
Really?
There you go.
Where'd you chase him to?
There you go in the chat. There you go in the chat, Bills. Duck Fario.
Let me tell the story. Full disclosure. All right. So basically, I was on the highway. I was on Interstate 93, and I was headed home. This clown goes and cuts me off. All right, so I'm like, okay, well, the way he cut me off was the ignorant part. It wasn't the fact he cut me off. It was the way he cut me off. Because what he did was he was behind me, and I was going about 80, too slow for him apparently. So he jumps into the lane to the right of me because I'm in the fast lane. He jumps into the lane to the right of me. And he slams on his brakes because the car in front of him was going too slow. So then I sped up. I'm like, nah, you're not coming in because you wanted to speed past me like I was going too slow. And then you got in a slower lane just to cut me off. So then he actually does cut me off. So I chased him. I chased him for like 5 exits.
Oh God.
And then I pulled up right beside him, and the motherfucker wouldn't even make eye contact with me. He was a little scary ass. and then he went to get off the exit that I was getting off, and he went and skidded and hit the guardrail, and I started laughing.
Oh God. He's trying to kill people on the road.
I drove past him and flipped him off, and I almost got out of the car, but I was like, fuck it, I have a career to chase. So I'm good. I heard DJ in the back of my head like, don't do it, dumbass. And I was like, all right,
I'm not here condoning. I'm not condoning that kind of stuff. That man could have lost his life.
I mean, I didn't run him into the guardrail. He ran himself into the guardrail.
That's what you tell the That's what you tell the judge, right?
I'm not gonna be a judge involved. He ran himself into the damn guard. That's his fault, old dumbass.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Let's kind of get back into these games a little bit because I did want to talk.
Yeah, because I know it's a game you wanted to talk about. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was having fun on the Division 2 beta that was out this past weekend, and just to let everybody know, there's going to be an open beta for the Division 2.
Thank God, because I pre-ordered that game.
Yeah, I want to get into that so I find out what it's about.
Yeah, so that's March 1st through the 4th. So that weekend, there's going to be a Division 2 open beta.
My birthday weekend? Come on, man.
Happy birthday, man.
I'm saying.
It ain't my birthday yet. Jesus Christ. Well, Derrick Rose out here balling.
So when that beta come out, man, y'all want to try to run on it and see what it's about? Because I'm actually interested.
Definitely run. Yeah. But yeah, first of all, the Division 2 takes place in DC, so I already know that was an automatic day one purchase for me because looking at that map, I've driven along some of those streets in DC. It definitely is a 1-to-1, and I think
so you've been walking down the streets with the gun, like, yeah, that's where I picked that hooker up at.
Wow. But anyway, yeah, that felt bad. He was trying to top his last week.
DJ was walking down by his job like, yeah, motherfucker's gonna enjoy something, right?
Hey, he was shooting up his job on the game.
Time y'all gave me that late fucking delivery. Oh my God.
Nah, plus my job ain't even in DC. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, it's
DC though. And he said he was able to go to his job and go inside the building in his job. So maybe he's the one that probably thinking about shooting up the place.
I mean, well, whatever. Let me shut up.
Yeah, let's shut up because if that shit happens, they're gonna be coming up looking for us like we're hiding shit. We ain't decided a damn thing.
Nothing at all.
So what we gonna tell the judge now?
Nothing. I don't know.
We're gonna tell them that First and Framerates does not condone any shooting up of your job or any other place. So
nope. We talk about sports and sports games.
But the Division 2, but hold on. But let's get for real. But the Division 2 beta, I like that the map definitely is 1-to-1 to the streets of DC. The gunplay. Oh, the graphics are pretty good. Actually, I think the graphics the graphics are pretty impressive. I think it's more in line with what we saw in the E3 demo for the Division 1.
That's interesting.
Because the cars definitely do show, like, the damage. It definitely, when you're in a gunfight and you're hiding behind the car and they're shooting up the car, it definitely tears up the car a lot more than it did in the first division.
Now, what season is it in? Because I'm guessing we're not going to get snow similar to
what, the division, the first one?
No, yeah, the second one. Like, we're not going to get
summer. It's summertime. Yeah, they're doing theirs during the summer. It seems like with DC and action flicks and games, they want to do DC in the summer. Because I remember there was a Die Hard that took place in DC, and they placed that during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the gunplay I definitely really liked. I think one of the guns I picked up early, it said it was labeled as an MK11, but I know damn well that was a Scar H. It fired and it sounded like an in-game Scar H. I don't know what an actual Scar H sounds like, so I'm not making that comparison. But in-game, Scar H is a beast.
I miss using the Scar H on the Battlefield 4.
Man, I've been playing Battlefield 4.
That was my gun.
Listen, I've been playing Battlefield 4 on Xbox One, PS4, and I've been playing it on PC for the past 3 or 4 days. Every platform is still going lit. The servers are full. Players are playing. Hey, man, we might need to get on that tonight, man. Straight up.
I think I still have it. So
yeah, I still have it.
You still got it.
My original day one PS4 game that I still have.
Dog. I still got the PS3 version. You had to pay the $10 to upgrade. I still got that.
I think I still have it on PS4. I believe.
So when I want to play it, I still have to put in the PS3 disc to play it.
Damn.
Yeah. I need to Yeah, if y'all got it, man, we need to get on that. That game is still going. It's nice. I was having a blast last few days.
But yeah, I was thinking about getting on Division if they had some type of open beta. I already expressed my issues with the last one. Just basically the shooting. Honestly, was
I never got into the first one, and it is kind of spongy, but I never got into it.
I've always had mixed feelings about that issue because I'm like, there's two things that I often looked at. Was that when people were looking at this game when the Division came out originally, was that because it had more real grounded setting, but it was still labeled as an RPG, that threw people off. Mm-hmm. Because it was like people went for headshots with certain guns, and it was like, it would take about 4 or 5 shots even to the head to bring people down.
Yeah, because they had to realize it's an RPG. Yeah,
right. And I was wondering about that, and then 2. Just leaning off of point 1 was that you have to take into factor what level gun you have, like all these, and then you have different tools. I think Division 2 actually displays more reasoning why they take so many bullets, because it seems like definitely armor is more in play with Division 2 than Division 1, because I remember when my character lost his armor or his whatever, when I went to restock his armor, the animation plays out where he switches out a new armor plate underneath his gear instead of sticking himself with a syringe to heal himself. So, and I've noticed that the enemies that don't have armor, they go down fairly quick. Now, that's just from the beta. And from what I remember in the beta in the first one, enemies were going down pretty quick. But then I also got the game day 1 last year, and enemies were going down real quick on level 1. Is when you got to like level 5, 7. In the first division, I'm at level 20. I'm still at 27. I haven't got any of the other levels. And yeah, they do take a while to go down now, but it's like I still have lower powered guns that I'm dealing with. I haven't got any of the special guns that can down enemies pretty quick. So but overall, I think Division 2 is less bullet spongy than the first one.
Man, why Ben Simmons just got dunked on? Like
I was about to say Ben Simmons got dunked on for the second night in a row, bro.
Good God. Why you got dunked on like that, man? What are we doing?
First you realize your jump shot is completely and utterly broken, and now you getting banged on like the next coming to Aaron Baines or something.
Man, if y'all ain't seen this, I'm gonna put it in the chat so y'all can see.
Yeah, I definitely gotta see that.
Yeah, so put that in the chat.
This one was way worse, DJ, because it was
this
hands.
one bad. So if people want to see that, it's in the chat right now. See Ben Simmons getting dunked on, bro.
Look at this.
Man. And he was there too. So don't say I got there late. No, you were right there.
DJ's reaction to that.
DeAndre
Jordan just looking at it
DeAndre reaction.
You know the only thing that would have been worse?
And Joel Embiid tried his best to get him up real quick.
The only thing that would have been worse would be him jumping full vert.
Yeah.
Yo, that reminded me of when Scottie Pippen dunked on Ewing.
Yo, that's my most favorite dunk, man. I don't care what nobody say, man. I know Bills like the Sean Kemp one, but
Sean Kemp. Well, no, I think my favorite one was there was one time MJ was coming down the fast break. It was against the Hornets, and he hit this dude with an in and out, and then he went up and banged on homeboy under the basket, and the dude literally turned his head in like fear. Hold on, I'm gonna say y'all that one. Hold on, let me see. But yeah,
so he turned in fear.
No, I swear to God. Let me.
But now, like we were talking about Division II. I want to get into Division II. I didn't get into the first one because it was just something about it. It didn't pull me in. But I looked at some gameplay that that was on YouTube, and I'm actually interested in it. And I'm glad you did say it was another open beta is going to be out. So I'm gonna try it in now. Let everybody. What day is that open beta? So
it's March 1st through the 4th. It's that weekend.
Okay.
So that would be the open beta.
Twitter for me. Twitter is full of milky liquors on their monthly sentence.
Well, I don't know nothing about that.
Milky liquors though.
That sounds like crisp poo.
Oh.
No.
Into some stuff, but
yeah, he still need to be brought up on charges for that. We still haven't got him up on charges for that. He need to be brought up on charges for that.
Oh boy,
yeah. Plastic or rubber or whatever you want to taste.
I swear, Chris Poo is like the kid's move of sports gaming.
Or something, because he's always putting his foot in his mouth. Or rubber in his mouth.
Put some nuts in his mouth, apparently.
Putting rubber shoes in his mouth. Oh my
it's like, I can have this with asparagus.
Asparagus. That was the vegetable choice. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, anything else y'all got before we go? Anything else y'all want to talk about before we close it up?
Trying to think. Well, real quick on the Kareem Hunt thing, I guess we haven't really spoken that much about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait.
What do you guys think the suspension? I'm sure there's gonna be something. Do you think it'll be 4 games, 8 games?
I think it should be 4.
Right? Isn't the minimum of 6? Or
I think it should be. I think it should be 4 games. I think they upped the minimum to 6. I believe.
Yeah, I think it said the minimum is 6, but it should be 4. I agree.
I think he's going to just get 4.
Honestly, I think
you know what though. That might be bad. Let me tell you something.
Brought up anything like that.
That might be bad PR if it gets 4 because the first thing they're going to say, well, such and such got 6. I thought the 6 was the minimum. The NFL can't get nothing right.
10 games would be some straight up bullshit.
No. Who said 10?
He already paid? Pooh said 10 games.
Hold on.
He already paid the price for being out of the league this entire. I mean, arguably, you could have said if he played.
The Bills.
10
how he get 10 for?
Bro, I don't know.
I ain't saying it, apples and oranges or whatever the case may be. But he kicked the girl compared to somebody who did worse than what he did, and
it wasn't even like a true kick. He nudged her with his foot.
Get out of here, type of
right.
And plus, it was confirmed that she called him the N-word.
Called him the N-word.
I can understand his rage.
Trying to fight his girl, all types of things.
I don't condone hitting women away, but I'll say 4 is good. But what I don't like, some people talking about this man should not be in the NFL at all. That's some bullshit.
We talked about that at length. I think that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, like just because he had an altercation with the woman or whatever, he should not be in the league at all. I mean,
Roethlisberger's case went way further than that, and he's still playing in the NFL. But y'all think that
he allegedly raped the girl, yo.
Right?
Yeah, and there's missing footage of that. So
come on, man. Y'all.
And that's not like his first time being accused either.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean,
it's like for him not to be in the league, and then next thing you know, you have somebody that's on the street, just like Shannon Sharp said, they do the same thing, but they can go back to work.
Right.
Yep. Exactly.
You can't have it. You can't have it both ways. No, it's
police shoot an unarmed citizen. They
get paid
transferred.
They get paid leave,
and then they get let go, and then they can be policed someplace else.
Right.
So
that man should be able to play again. But
as far as on the field, I think he will make an immediate impact. I'm sure he'll be in shape.
I'm gonna tell you something. What it tells me, is that the Browns, they got people up there that actually want to win now,
and that know something that we don't, maybe about what the suspension will be, or because the investigation, I guess, is still going on.
The one thing that the Redskins front office got right about picking up, I forgot his name,
Reuben Foster.
He's gonna be big for y'all. He's gonna be.
But you know what though? To be honest with you, and it's a great pick for y'all, but San Francisco should be ashamed of themselves.
Yes.
They really should be ashamed of themselves.
Way too fast with these
players.
They
jumped the gun way too fast.
Remember Dallas cut their kick returner, and it turned out that it wasn't even him?
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That's what started this whole knee-jerk cutting people.
That's what I'm saying. It's a societal problem because you have people like Reuben Foster or that kicker from Dallas, and not even to mention you talk about the situation with old boy from Florida State. It's not a domestic violence situation, but you gotta take heed of what you say nowadays. It's people so sensitive that when you hear stuff like that, it damages their career, and kind of find out 2 months later, oh, this didn't happen. And now, but what he's supposed to do, nobody don't even want to touch the guy no more.
And that's why the narrative of what reason does she have to lie is just starting to really piss me off. What reason does she have to lie? How many exhibits do we need?
But the honest reason, though, you're understanding the reason of it now because she's pissed off. She wants to ruin a man's career. She lied, and now her mission is accomplished.
Look at LaShawn McCoy.
Exactly.
Now, LaShawn McCoy, I thought the Bills would probably cut bait with him, but he was confident throughout that he had done nothing wrong, and it turns out that her whole case actually looks way worse on her because she was the one at fault for a lot of the shit that she claimed happened to her that didn't actually happen, and he'd been trying to get her out of the house for the longest time, and she wouldn't leave. Then she's stealing stuff. I mean, it's crazy, man. We incriminate these dudes because they're celebrities and they're athletes, but we don't look at what the other person can gain from it.
It's not because the athlete and celebrity is a part of it, but the problem is it's a bandwagon society. If one person makes a story and they make it seem like it's somewhat quote unquote believable, everybody jumps on it, and before that man be able to even defend himself, his career is in shambles. And then come to find out, like I said, he could be innocent. It didn't happen this way, or it comes to find out that he was provoked in some cases. Then now nobody has nothing to say. They just go about their daily life trying to find the next meme to post on Twitter.
Oh, I got another topic real quick. Oh, you gonna say something, DJ?
Oh yeah, I just want to post this random. This is a little clip of the Division II beta that I posted from earlier. I'm putting that in the
go ahead. Now. Cool.
So I was gonna say the other thing that happened. AB officially demanded a trade.
Oh, I'm glad you said it. I almost forgot about that.
Now, Neff is in here, and I really think he would be a great fit on the Cowboys.
Oh man, wow. Just thinking about them two, him and Amari Cooper together.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, I'm going to tell y'all something. That happens. The NFC East has a problem on their hands.
Y'all got a huge problem.
They got a big – all the other teams have a serious problem on their hand because I'm looking at everybody else's secondary in that division. Nah.
Yeah.
That's not the same Dallas. Not the same Dallas defense either. That defense is good.
Oh, I ain't even talk. I'm not talking about that second.
No, but I'm saying because of that, when you add him, it's like both sides of the ball are.
Yo, that linebacking corp, man. Yeah. I'm impressed with Dallas linebacker. Yeah,
he won't.
Man, come on, man. Leave Dak alone, man.
Right. Stop getting on Dak, man.
Man, Dak all right, man.
I'll tell you what, though, Dak has no excuse after that, though.
Hey, Dak is not elite. Dak is not elite, but Dak is all right, man.
Yeah, he's all right, man.
Eagle fans try to give him hell, but he all right, man.
Dak is good enough to win a Super Bowl with Zeke in the backfield.
I can agree with that.
If he gets AB, he doesn't have to be a Super Bowl MVP caliber guy.
And the way they lost to the Rams, it wasn't like they shot themselves in the foot. They just lost.
Yeah.
You can't. It ain't like the time when they lost to Aaron Rodgers or any other time they lose, like when they lost to Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau with the fucked up catch, or the time when Aaron Rodgers threw across his body at the sideline. It wasn't nothing like that.
Right.
Them dudes, they literally just lost to a better team that day. I mean, Dallas all right, man.
Dak is as good as his running game.
No, he's good as Ezekiel's running game because it helps him throw the ball better.
Yeah. I mean, but I think other teams, we keep hearing.
Hold on, man. We forgot about AB just that quick.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So I think when we talk about San Francisco, that's another team I keep hearing he might go to. I don't see any promise there unless they then go and sign Le'Veon, which, I
don't see them signing Le'Veon.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he does anything for them because they would still be missing a run game. I heard the Jets. I would no.
I heard the Jets. I heard Arizona.
Arizona would be for Rosen. That would actually be.
That would help him.
That would help him. Yeah, David Johnson coming back healthy. Yeah,
because Rosen has the arm. He just needs targets.
Definitely. I'm trying to think of other teams that he would fit on that I haven't heard. Obviously, the Colts would be nice.
The Colts would be good. A good fit for him.
The Chiefs would be really nice.
Yeah, the Chiefs would be really nice.
I'm not even going to bring up the Patriots. I mean, we're not going to pay him, so there's no point.
I would say no. I was about to say Miami, but he's from Miami. He'll be a head case down there. No.
Maybe the Packers.
Packers would be good.
Yeah. I mean, so there's a plethora of teams, but we'll just see what the Steelers end up doing. We know he's gonna get traded. There's no way.
Let's just talk about him in general, like how he's handling the situation. How do y'all feel about that?
I honestly don't have an issue with it. Because I think what he sees is what a lot of people see is that every time something happens, every time they lose a game, it's always AB's fault. They always get on Ben Roethlisberger and the bandwagon with him, and he's always absolved for everything, and AB is always the one that's looked at as the redheaded stepchild, and I think he got tired of it.
Chris say he'll be a good fit in Tampa. I don't think that Jameis Winston to throw the ball at him.
That would sink the whole ship.
Yeah, I don't think Jameis wouldn't know what to do with him.
That would be a horrible. I think that would be a horrible situation to add a receiver like that to a losing situation that has no promise of getting any better.
I mean, look at what's his name trying to get out of there now, Deshaun Jackson.
That would almost be like putting Randy Moss on Oakland.
Perfect analogy right there. Perfect analogy.
I mean, that's pretty. We saw how that worked out.
So. All right, here's some Madden footage.
Chicago's a really good one, DJ.
Chicago's a good one. Yes, Chicago would be a good one.
Man, Trubisky.
There's some Madden footage for y'all to look at on Twitter if y'all want to go look at that.
Oh boy,
y'all can look at that real quick. I like the camera angle though. But anyway, and I think I don't have a problem with the way AB is handling how he wants to get out of there. But the problem with AB is he has to be really mindful of how far he goes with it, because his talent is there. But the more he does that, more teams he'll end up in a bad situation, because some team that will get him will be the team that desperately needs him compared to a team that could be a good fit, if that makes sense. Because teams that are a good fit typically are about their businesses as far as what they have on their team, compared to, like we said, a Tampa. You know what I mean? So I mean, the way his attitude, if there's a little bit of structure in the organization, they might not pick him up. You know what I mean? But if a team that don't have that much structure, they may pick him up, and he probably be like a guy that gets like 1,400 yards, where they're still going 3-13.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's the thing with the Steelers is they don't have.
Let's talk about them real quick.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They don't have any merit to trade him where he wants to go, obviously. But I mean, that would probably be the only way for them to get assets back. You don't trade him to a bad team and get, well, unless you get a top pick for him.
If as far as the Steelers go, the Steelers somewhat don't have any leverage. You got to understand what they already dealt with Le'Veon. So it's like they don't have any leverage, so they're probably just going to dump him off to anybody who gives them the best deal. But for him to go where he wants to go, he might want to go to a winning team. And if he continues to have these semi antics out there, they're not going to want him.
I'll say this one thing though. I think that Le'Veon should wait till he's traded.
I can agree with that.
To see, and they should team up because I know they're good friends.
Yeah, I can see that happening. But then again, that's another team. Do you want to take on two guys that are somewhat head cases when you already have somewhat structure?
Well, I think that issue was more so isolated with Pittsburgh rather than them being that way with every team. Because
that's why I want to flip that and say let's talk about Pittsburgh real quick. We said this in past podcast episodes. Ever since all those great players that was there has been moved out, you have a bunch of guys that are Steelers that are just like pretty much undisciplined. And I'm not saying everybody on the team is undisciplined, but you don't have that guy that can keep, or that group of guys that keep guys together.
2 words, Mike Tomlin.
Exactly, because the Ryan Clarks, the James Harrisons, the Ferrier, those guys that was there 5, 6, 7 years ago, those guys would not tolerate this bullshit that's going on now. It would not happen. You know, so once all those guys got weeded out, or they retired, or they just cut or whatever, this is what you got. The Troy Polamalu's. The guys like that, they wouldn't go for stuff like this. I mean, and you saw it when Ryan Clark.
They also took their head coach serious.
Yeah, exactly. It goes both ways.
I don't take Mike Tomlin.
Don't say it goes both ways. Mike Tomlin would have tried to get them straight, but on the flip side, they'll do the same for him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They would have pulled. I promise you, when Mike Tomlin got there, and if anybody was acting up, I bet some of those veterans pulled Tomlin aside. Hey, look, I know you're the coach, and you've been doing this for a while, but we've been here a little bit longer, and something got to be done with him. I can promise you at least. Yeah, I promise you, some of the veterans done that.
That team ain't been the same since Dick LeBeau left.
Right.
So there's that too.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and you saw with Ryan Clark. When Ryan Clark started talking about AB, about what he was prior to all this going on, it's like that's the type of stuff they needed in that locker room before they got out of hand.
Well, let's go back to the coddling of Ben Roethlisberger, though, because that too. I remember them firing an offensive coordinator because Ben Roethlisberger didn't like the play call. They fired Todd Haley.
Yeah, they did. Yep.
Todd Haley, one of the best offensive minds in the game, they fired him because Ben Roethlisberger didn't like the play call. Give me a break. Seriously.
It's not what you like, is how well you can succeed in what we're offering.
Oh, we just never had chemistry, and he's kind of throwing them under the bus. And that's another thing that Ben Roethlisberger does, just throw people under the bus in the media. Just throw people under the bus. He did it to AB.
Yeah, I'm about to say, didn't he try to do that with AB?
Yeah. Juju's going to be next in line to get thrown under the bus, just like Santonio Holmes was thrown under the bus. It's a cycle.
That guy's career should not have finished the way it did. That guy was really good.
He's another person that got ran out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he was too good for his career to end the way it did. Yeah. Santonio Holmes was a really good player.
He was really good.
He should have been able to go out on top in some fashion or form, even if it wasn't with a championship. He should have been one of those guys that when his career was done, people would applaud for his services, and he would ride off into the sunset. But the way they did him in Pittsburgh, he ended up going to the Jets and damn near being an afterthought afterwards.
He went to the Jets, and that Jets team was full of people that got ran out from They're friend, and they all had a chip on their shoulder, and they played well. But Mark Sanchez was the quarterback.
Yep.
So,
yeah, that's true.
With that.
And those 2 AFC championships don't mean nothing when your defense bought you there.
Nothing.
Well, anyway, anything else y'all got before we close? I mean, I don't
have anything left.
Hey man, we might need to get on the Battlefield 4, man. Y'all playing? I'm dead ass serious.
We might need to start charging for our weekly content.
Hey man, we might set up a Patreon on the Patreon and say First and Frame Rates is broke.
And offer the same content over and over again that you could go look up for free. So
yeah, exactly. Listen, we are First and Frame Rates. The 9 people that's listening and doing the live stream. Now I'm dead serious because I appreciate y'all, and I appreciate the dozens that listen on SoundCloud, the other dozen that listen on iTunes, and the people who listen to this after we finish the live stream. From day one, we always just wanted to give you what we talk about when we're just in PSN or when we're just talking on Skype or whatever. Because we always felt that what we talk about is entertaining and is insightful and is informative. I don't feel that our time is wasted by doing this because we enjoy each other's company. I think that's why we love doing what we're doing at this podcast. But for us to ask you to open your wallets after most of you guys, I know they probably work. Y'all got bills to pay. Y'all got things to do in your personal lives. The last thing y'all want to do is to sit down, open up your iPad, open up your phone, or cut on your computer and worry about paying us to just hear us talk. I think that's disingenuous because we're not better than you guys. We're just guys that just decided, hey, look, man, once a week or once every other week, let's just chop it up. Got some topics. Oh, go ahead. What you about to say?
I will say one thing though. Bring a friend next time. Are y'all the type of people that show up to a party and just come by yourselves?
I agree. Now I do agree to that because even though that people do listen to the podcast or whatever, but we would like to see more people live. I do agree with that.
Yeah, because Neff would be the type that bring himself, but no women.
Right.
He's gonna bring like all his girlfriends, but nah, that's okay. He just comes by himself. We're like, where they at?
He'll show up with his own beer,
right?
and then get mad when you ask for some,
right? Like nobody.
Hold on, what you think? This 24 pack is for me, fool.
right. I don't gotta drive home. Shit.
Exactly. No, but it's like people. You have some people that like to say certain things about our podcast, so we don't have that many viewers or this, that, and third. Not that many people live, but the one thing that you could say that we're real with ours. We're not trying to be the biggest podcast. We could do a lot of things that's real cheesy and over the top to get 4 and 5, 6, 7-year-olds here to listen to us, and they could bring all their school friends, and all of a sudden we got 2,000 views because we're trying to
dances and shit.
Yeah, because we're trying to cater to people that we don't know or we don't even relate to.
Yeah,
this podcast is basically for people who have a somewhat of mature mind with a funny side to their, to their life, like that can make jokes and have fun. But on top of that, what we talk about is stuff that's pretty much catered to our age demographic. We're not trying, because I'll put it like this: a lot of people that are doing YouTube now, you got to understand that their demographic is for kids that are under the age of 16. I can't relate to them. We can't relate to them. That's why we talk about what we talk about. There's no way that we can tell a 14-year-old why such and such is good in AAF football, or why the draft classes this year aren't as good,
right?
Or why game development problems are in NBA Live. We don't cater to that group. We don't cater to showing you visuals of a broken play and tell you Madden's trash or this game is trash. We've passed that. We're now like, look, we're grown men. We work. We do things. We want to come home. We want to chill. And we just want to talk about stuff that entertains us. We're not trying to make you feel any type of way emotionally.
Yeah.
We're just trying to have a good time. So I think the ones who come and listen, I think the ones who, share our podcast and go on iTunes and SoundCloud and all that, this is what it's about. We're not We're not here to try to cater to anybody.
If y'all watch Undisputed or First Take, it's like this, except it's not scripted. We're not going to sit here and talk about, all right, so today I'm going to play the bad guy, and I'm going to play the Michael Jordan hater, and so and the next week, no, that's not
Well, I'm going to put on a goat mask and tell you that LeBron, hey, come on, man, really?
Like, you're going to get the same, you're going to get a lot of varied topics. It's going to be about sports gaming. It's going to be about sports in general, but you're going to get the genuine us. You're not going to get any type of storylines that we're trying to make up to get viewers and shit. So,
it's not an act.
Yeah, we're trying to grow. We're trying to grow the legit way.
And you got to understand. Look at those shows like Undisputed Affair. Look what time of day that it's on.
Yeah,
it's not on a time of day where people like us.
Hey, well, shit. You know what?
I knew that was gonna happen. He was like, "Well, if you're offering."
Yeah, I said if you're offering, I mean, we can put our PayPal's in the link.
See, I know, right? But that's the difference, is that we're not asking for.
You're not asking.
I think that's the main point, is that we're not asking for any of it.
Yeah.
We just
I don't care about. I mean, that's why
have an open ear.
Right. That's it. That's why you don't see this dollar sign that you click on to pay on this podcast. I don't roll like that. If you truly want to do that, I mean, that's great.
Well, VF, you kind of have no choice because you don't have enough subs.
Hey, listen, even if I did, I wouldn't do
it. YouTube did it. YouTube made it only available for certain YouTubers that have certain amount of followings and stuff like that. So they couldn't even pay you if they tried.
That's the thing. I mean, we're just three guys coming together and talking about sports and gaming. And we just want y'all to listen, and hopefully y'all get a few laughs out of it, and hopefully y'all get maybe a different perspective on the topics we talk about. And that's that, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's you got to understand that. Like, I appreciate that, Quayface. I really appreciate that. That is your favorite. This is your favorite podcast.
You're a Redskins fan, but I'm gonna give you a break. I can only have one Redskins fan in my life right now. Right?
We originally were in Boston, so
true that.
You
got to think about it. Look what time of day that those other shows can, like Undisputed, they come on in the middle of the day where most people are at work. So the guys who are actually watching it live, they're either having their day off or they don't work at all. They just sit there and watch it all day. We don't cater to that demographic. We're hardworking people. We come home from work and we're just regular people. That's why the podcast is at 7:00 because it's for people who just want to get off and want to chill and want to talk about some of the topics of the week and just honestly just be real about it.
Yeah.
We're not here trying to get you to follow us on trying to make. I hate to say it like this. You know what? I better not say that.
Yeah, because right now you're repeating yourself.
No, I was not about to repeat myself. I was about to throw another
track three times.
No, I was about to throw another podcast under the bus. That's why I stopped myself. Yeah, I was about to throw a podcast under the bus, and I love those guys. They're good people, and I'm not going to.
And who we're talking about here?
We like those guys. That's all you need to know.
I know.
We like those guys. We do, but I don't.
But you guys are kind of repetitive. Just saying.
But we don't.
Very repetitive.
I don't like the structure, but I like the guys. I just put it like that. I'm always attracted to people that are real. I just put it like that.
Yeah. So I mean, bring a friend. All right. That's interested in sports and gaming. Let them try it out. There's no harm in listening to our podcast one time. If they don't like it, by all means, you don't ever have to listen to us again.
Yeah, definitely. So always, just tell somebody about it. Tell somebody about this podcast. Send them a link through their phone. Say, hey, man, what you think about this?
And that's the only thing we'll ask for.
That's it. All we ask for you to listen. There's two other links. If they don't like YouTube, there's two other links right there, iTunes or SoundCloud. You can go check it there. And that's all I got, man. Y'all, anybody want to close? And we're done.
Thanks for coming through, people. And next week, we like to hear about some of the topics that y'all would want us to talk about.
Definitely. I'm going to start putting up a poll.
Put it up like right after this so we can get at least some days.
And VF, please start
check the stats.
Start advertising for us, earlier.
I know, man. I
6:45
the day before.
I know, man. Today, man, me and my wife, who was out all day. I should have put it on my phone, but I was out all day, man.
Because you can actually schedule it.
Yeah, I know. I could schedule it. I know.
God forbid I'm about to put out an album. I'm like, well, in about 12 hours.
Hey man, we Apex legends out here, man. We put it out day one, and everybody come watch and listen.
And to tell you the truth, that like surprise upload or whatever, it only works for people who are established. And Beyonce's put out a surprise record overnight. And
hey man, we almost established.
We gotta tell people 7 days away, 4 days away, 2 days away,
and keep reminding them like every 20 minutes.
Right.
Hey man, don't forget. Hey man, I just got this tweet. Hey man, don't forget.
When I reminded you the first time, we got like mad people in it.
Yeah, we did. We did. So, and that was because I did push it a little bit harder. So.
Yeah.
Anything else you got, DJ?
I really don't have anything else. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out if dude will ever respond about my own hometown, since I
saw that.
Know more about my hometown than I do.
One of those.
I only live here for like years on end, like 33 years. But
right, he's over there living in Wyoming and shit, trying to tell somebody about the city life.
Talking.
No, but the thing is, he's in Baltimore. Oh, so okay. I understand the prism of what he's looking at Howard County and Columbia, and it's just like, dude, your life view, it is what it is, because that's what happens in and around Baltimore. The life is a lot different. It's a little different,
yeah.
Yeah,
and I don't even want to tell. I don't even want to tell you how it is when I was in Atlanta.
I tell you what, living in Columbia offers privileges that most Black folks don't get to see around the other country. So, just saying.
I can believe that. South Carolina is a different beast. I can get into that, but that'll take hours.
And I'm not. And just to let everybody know, so nobody doesn't get it confused, I'm in Columbia, Maryland. I know he's referencing Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah, I'm in Columbia, South Carolina. It's just a different animal down here. It's not what you think it is, but it's what you think it is. If you get what I'm saying.
That town used to shut down for Monday Night Nitro back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
From what I heard,
they
would close down shops and everything just to watch their wrestling.
That's the type of people we have here.
And what I gotta say is, fuck Boston.
Oh, good Lord. Anyway, this is the First and Framerates Podcast. It's episode 54. You can catch us on iTunes, SoundCloud, or you can catch us on here live, or after this debuts live, you can catch us up on here. My Twitter handle is VF Baller, Bills is Bills4, DJ is DJ81. It's all in the description. Give us a follow. And like I said, like we all said, share with other people. Let them know that, hey, man, I listen to this. What you think? Just give us 5 minutes, and I promise you'll listen to the whole episode. And after the whole episode, you'll listen the following week. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Catch us on any of those links, and we'll catch you next time. Y'all take it easy. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.